Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Raman. I call myself as a performance accelerator. It's a combination of two words, excellence and acceleration, because I help organizations and professionals to cut short the time from their journey toward excellence, not just performance. Today, I intend to share a few things about how you can speed up your professional learning and mastery and start your year 2021 with a bang. Raise your hands or type teach me in the chat if you want to be coached by someone who has mastered the art and science of accelerator learning. Show me your hands or say me or teach me. Type teach me if you want to be coached by somebody who has mastered that art. Thank you, Harcher. Appreciate. I hope I can share something today useful for you. Today, whatever you learn in this webinar, surely it will speed up your own learning. Not only your own learning, but you can speed up the learning of your teams because, after all, they are the ones who make you shine as a highly high achieving leader, isn't it? And you can use those tips to make your kids learning faster. So, how cool you think that would be? So type in the chat, tell me more if you are interested to understand some of those tips which you can apply for yourself, your team, and your kids. Great. Perfect. I love it. All right. I just want to be very clear that, I am here talking about, not talking about time management secrets, okay? I am not going to give any strategies for being more productive or getting faster job promotions or work faster. You may become better after learning the tips I will share with you, but this webinar is purely about how to cut the time out of your journey of learning from performance point A to performance point B. All right, whatever that means to you. So it's all about cutting the time out from your journey. If it is clear, type in go faster in the chat. Go faster in the chat if it is very clear what exactly I'm going to cover today. So I will talk about three things today. Okay. One, I'm going to talk about five goals of professional learning you should have. Second, I will talk about is five strategies that can accelerate your learning. And third, I will talk about five mistakes that might be slowing you down. If you are ready to learn, type ready in the chat. Who is ready? Type ready if you are ready to learn. Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you so much. I love this crowd. Okay. So now, why you should listen to me? Who am I? So let me tell you something about myself. I am an engineer turned performance scientist. I'm a global authority on speed. I have keen interest in researching how people learn and perform and become star performer in a shorter time. That's how I ended up with two doctorates in professional performance and learning. And those doctorates are not your typical professor type of academic doctorates. I work on professional corporate problems. I have lived the art and science of learning myself deeply. So you can guess that one from the fact that I have earned over 100 international and educational credentials, some of which includes world's largest, highest certifications. Like I have three master's degree and several other things. When you understand the science of learning and performance, you can do amazing things too. For example, I have written 20 books in a short span of time and 20 more to come in next couple of years. So it might sound academic or scholarly to you, but I am actually a corporate learning leader managing Hall of the Fame training organization. And this organization is named as one of the top five training organizations in the world. In addition, I also manage teams in various parts of the world. I'm responsible for professional learning of over 4,000 engineers for a $40 billion corporation. Today, I will combine my research and experience uh, in my professional domain, and I will talk about your professional challenges. Who is ready to learn? Raise your hands or say ready in the chat. Show me your hands if you're ready to learn. Yeah, come on, guys. You can turn on your cameras. Let me have a look at your faces. Perfect. Thank you so much, Wila. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let it be a little bit more interactive. In fact, I told Asia Mentoring Institute, let's make it as a Zoom meeting instead of a one-way webinar. So that we can interact, we can see each other, and we can learn together. Okay. All right. So I told you very rosy things about myself, but I wasn't always like this. Okay. You see that picture? I'm standing with a crutch. So, well, I got polio when I was 6 months old. So, ever since I had lost the ability to walk, I'm permanently disabled for life. I started my childhood learning to crawl on one leg for many years. And then when I was 7 years old, I had to wear something called calipers. You know, the picture you see? It's a sort of iron plates with lots of hooks and straps just to keep my leg and belly in place. So, anyway, as time passed, I shed away those things and then I learned how to walk with crutches. So, you can see that I have gone through a lot of painful, intense learnings in my childhood. But one fact stayed constant, that I had to live with my baby steps. I could never walk normally like other kids. I could never walk fast. I could never match the pace with my classmates. So I was always left behind um, for many, many years. And, those were the moments when I decided that if I couldn't walk with my legs, I would want to walk fast with something else. So day and night, I kept on thinking, how could I be faster than others? So that's how my obsession uh, with speed began. When you're hungry like a tiger, what's your choice? You got to chase the food, right? And you need to chase it faster. So hunger is the foundation to become better. I set myself on a path to satisfy my hunger to walk fast. So I leveraged my immobility. For that, I started soaking myself into the world of learning. I began to try different ways of learning things. If one method didn't work, I tried another. It took me several decades, but eventually I mastered the ways to learn faster. Then I went on to my professional career. Then I tried methods to accelerate my performance, and I mastered those in no time. But until then, it was art I learned, and it was all about me. Then I started wondering, are there other people out there who have mastered something similar? Then I also became curious. Beyond the art, is there a science? Is there some rules? Are there any better strategies to learn faster? Are there any secrets that other people have figured out how to be star performer in a shorter time? Are there strategies and methods that work universally to speed up people's professional careers? So that's how I got into research. So I try to reach out and read about those who have already researched or mastered the art of learning and performance. So I studied several books, articles to decode that know how. What I wanted to find was, are there things that work in all settings? How can professionals do it for themselves? How can organizations speed up the learning of their team members? You see, it was all rooted in my hunger for speed, which I had taken from simple curiosity to full fledged research. So, who here is hungry to excel in professional life at a faster speed? Raise your hand or type in the chat hungry. Who is hungry to go faster? Perfect. Thank you. Great. Now, some people learn faster, some don't, right? So that must mean something. Raise your hands if you believe that people who learn fast are probably unique. They are very smart. They got fertile or intelligent brains, or they are some sort of geniuses. Raise your hands if you think so. Right. Raise your hands or type in the chat if you think learning fast is all about increasing the capacity of your brain, developing some thinking processes inside your mind, sharpening your memory, and things like that. Who think that? Put it in the chat if you think that way, or raise your hand. Or raise your hand if you believe that learning faster is all about your inner agility, smartness, focus, or such thing which are pretty much inside you, very much unique to you. Okay. Type me if you believe that learning fast always reside inside us. Who believes that kind of notion? Okay. Gary say, yeah, it is inside us. Yep. James say yes. Yeah. So there are, these notions has been groomed into us from our school, from university, or many other sources. No offense, but this is the first sign of failure. How badly we have been coached over the years about how to learn. Some because our teachers who had no idea how learning works, and some because some money making memory gurus told us, right? Today, I am going to break that notion. As a learning scientist, I need to tell you one thing, that learning fast depends more on things that reside outside you than the things inside you. Your ability to learn faster depends more on external factors than your innate qualities. How many of you just jumped out of your seats after hearing that? Pretty unconventional, isn't it? Who got this reaction? Are you crazy? This is not what most money making gurus have taught us. They all told us learning fast is all about inner focus, smartness, talents, or your learning capacity. There was a scientist called Bloom. He performed hundreds of experiments on students, and he concluded one thing, that anyone, no matter brain capacity, talents, or abilities, anyone can learn and can even learn faster, provided the right conditions are provided to them. If you just take this takeaway today to your bed, I can tell you that this unconventional wisdom will change the way you think moving forward. It has a bigger meaning. If the secrets of learning fast reside outside us, no matter your inner talents or inner abilities, any one of you can possibly control and leverage those external factors and then can learn faster. By the end of this webinar, I would be glad if you can take this one takeaway to your bed tonight. It will change the way you think, the way you progress in your professional career. Raise your hands or type something in the chat if you want to know how to leverage your external condition to learn faster. Great. So for some of you, it was an unexpected statement, isn't it? So let's break some notions today. So we're gonna start the new year with the new thinking. And first we're gonna need to unlearn what has been wrongly taught to us. Okay. Now the question comes is, why do we really need to cut the time? I think answer is simple. Raise your hands if you think the time is money, or type something in the chat. Do you think time is money? Yeah, you're right. No, let me confuse you a little bit. Raise your hands or type something in the chat if you think time is more valuable than money. Is time more valuable than money? Who are those? Raise your hands. Yeah, I'm pretty sure some of you must have changed the sides. All right. Yeah, because time is finite. Scarcity of it makes it valuable. That's why we need to be able to accelerate our journey toward proficiency or mastery and cut the time out. Who is excited to learn how to do it? Great. Okay. So you better take out some paper or pen because my slide, as you see, don't have any text. So I'm going to be talking most of the time. Okay. So you keep noting down. And during the webinar, just in case you want to take a snapshot of any slide or anything, go ahead and take it, post in social media. Just to tag me. There are some social media handles on this slide on the top. You can note down those. And if you want, you can tag me if you want to post any of these snapshots. So go ahead. So we're going to talk about the first five goals you should target when trying to speed up your learning. Most of those I have mentioned already, but let me put that in context, okay? Let's calibrate. When we say now speed up learning so that you are more successful in your job, what does it really mean to you? What learning fast really mean to you? Type in the chat, what do you think? Learning fast or accelerated learning? What is the meaning? What do you understand from that? What it stands for you? Tell me in the chat. What learning fast or accelerated learning means to you. Is it acquiring more knowledge in shorter time? Is it sort of learning some new insights, awareness, get insights, be able to advise, more results and productivity to adapt to the changes, bring new changes. Perfect. Yeah. Okay, keep pouring in your comments, guys. Thank you. So here are the kind of learning fast actually means many things. First one, obvious, is that comes in mind as you people have said, acquire new knowledge, new information, or master new content in a faster time. After all, that's the basic thing you need in the job or profession. For instance, knowing about how to use Zoom during the pandemic was an example of accelerated learning to acquire the new knowledge. But that's very traditional scope of learning. There are things beyond that you need to learn in professional setting. Become a better decision maker or thinker to solve any unforeseen problem, like COVID-19 pandemic itself. Learning new methods, techniques, or way of doing your job quickly. How many had to do that during this pandemic? Many, I guess. Quickly and deeply understanding the insights or sensing something like which way the market is going to go after COVID recovery. How many of you need to accelerate that learning or quickly acquiring new mindset or develop new behavior such as virtual is new way of doing business? Many of you might be facing that thing. What if you could adapt to new habits and changes at the pace of business, like being an employee to starting up your own business? Anyone here in this boat? If you are, you're gonna need to change quickly, and that's accelerated learning. And for some of you, reaching that epitome of wisdom, the intelligence by trying different things at an accelerated rate, or finding new opportunity quickly, making your way to success is accelerated learning. Okay. And I'm sure all of us will fall in that bucket as soon as this COVID pandemic is over. But fundamentally, we all need to reach that state of delivering result and mastery in whatever we do in a shortest possible time. Okay. So this was a kind of a little bit a larger canvas. Accelerated learning means a lot of different things to different people. And all of those are true, in fact. It's not just about knowledge and content. Okay. It goes much beyond that. We need to learn and speed up all those aspects of learning: mindset, skills, behavior, thinking, wisdom, intelligence, decision making, all of those things. But what is the end point? What do you want to attain? To what level you need to accelerate your learning? What's the destination? So let me first qualify where we need to go, what kind of learning we are really talking about in professional setting. Anyone here has ever gotten any incident with a fire where you had to interact with a fireman or firefighter? Anyone ever gotten that experience interacting with a fireman? Raise your hands or type me in the chat if you got. Imagine that when a firefighter comes to your home, office, you ask the fireman, "Can you put out the fire?" And he replies, "Sir, ma'am, I can break the door, but I am yet to learn how to use water hose." How acceptable is that response to you? Do you accept that response from a firefighter? You don't want that reply. You want who can do the complete job putting out the fire and who has done it repeatably, reliably, and consistently in past, not one time performance, not hit and miss. You don't care which task of firefighting is great at and what is yet yeah, what he's still learning. You are only and only interested in final integration skill, which is, can he deliver it consistently, what he is hired for? Raise your hands or say me if you agree with that viewpoint. That's the kind of performance we need to deliver in our professional setting, in our job, in our business, or in our practice. We need to deliver results for the entire job or job role, not individual skills, not individual tasks or activities. This stage we call proficiency. This is what the end of any learning we do professionally should be: consistent results. This is what your employer wants from you, a proficient employee. This is what your clients want from you, a proficient consultant. This is what your customers want from you, a proficient businessman. This is what your team wants from you, a proficient leader. This is what you want from your team, a proficient team. Show me your hands or type in the chat if you are all on same page with me in regards to the professional performance we expect from people in a professional setting. Perfect. So let me kind of, qualify a little bit further for you. First, I need to draw the boundaries between three things we always confuse: learning, you know it; performance, you do it; proficiency, you do it again and again consistently and become good at it. Okay. Simple enough to remember, right? In professional setting, learning fast alone is not enough. You, you focus too much on learning content and skills. Learning content and individual skills or gaining information or learning one specific activity at a work is not proficiency. But ironically, that's where you spend most of your time. But that time add nothing to your speed. Add nothing to your speeding up your journey toward overall proficiency in your job, work, or business. Rather, what it does is it slows you down. When we focus on learning alone and not the consistent end results, no matter your customer, client, your peers, your managers, everyone is going to think you are not a fast learner if you don't produce consistent result fast enough. That means if you're not proficient enough. Raise your hands or type in the chat if you see my point here, what exactly I'm talking about. Great. So what's the trick? Proficiency is what gives the results for which you get recognized, for which you get promotions, for which you get successful contracts. The trick is when you target accelerating your movement toward the stage of proficiency, you automatically accelerate performance and learning. You don't have to do much to speed up those. You need to learn for a purpose. And purpose is professional proficiency. You learn for professional proficiency. How do you know you are proficient in whatever you do? You're learning contents, knowledge, skills, behavior, tasks, projects, everything to deliver performance, which has five characteristics. Number one, repeatable. Number two, reliable. Number three, consistent, not one time hit. Number four, independent. And number five, which is delivered to the agreed standards. And when you reach that quality performance, your client, your managers, your customers, your team members, all are going to view you as a proficient professional. At this stage of proficiency, you can handle any kind of situation effortlessly, and you don't need much help. Your performance is fluid, almost part of your body. If you are a proficient programmer, you can do coding effortlessly sitting on the toilet seat. Just a saying, but that's the kind of fluidity we get in the performance at this stage. So let's take a moment to reflect. How do you see the state of proficiency in your own jobs, practice, profession, or business? One very important criteria to understand proficiency is numbers. For instance, let's say that you are a salesperson. You wouldn't know your level of proficiency unless there is a number associated with your performance. It will read something like this: deliver a minimum $1 million of sales per month consistently, at least for 6 months, month over month. So that's a typical definition of proficiency. That's how we measure it. That's how we know we are proficient or not. So how do you see your teams see you as a proficient manager or a leader? How do your customers see yourself as a proficient business person? How do your client see you as a proficient practitioner? Can you describe what you would be behaving at that stage in terms of these five goals we talked about? Go ahead and just type in the chat. What do you know about your proficiency stage? Can you describe it? Do you know when you reach proficiency stage? How do you see yourself behaving or delivering at that stage? In your own job role, in your own business, in your own practice, type something in the chat. How do you view proficiency yourself? Have you ever thought about proficiency before? Do you measure your performance in terms of proficiency? Do you actually target reaching that stage of proficiency ever? Is it part of your terminology? Is it part of your language? Do you talk in terms of these five things, gaining the consistent, reliable, repeatable performance? Client satisfaction, measurable client business outcome, ROI. Yeah, yep. So proficiency has to be measurable. You should be able to measure and know where exactly you are on that journey. Okay. So think about that one while I'm talking about this. Okay. So now you're going to need to learn to be there. What you would need is accelerator professional learning. No matter you learn yourself, you attend a training program, hire a coach, hire a consultant, they are they must take you to one place, and that place is state of the performance which a fireman displayed. But here is the bad news. As a learning scientist, I need to be honest with you. Most training programs are neither designed for proficiency nor for speed. Most of those are designed for information download. And that's the thing that does not allow you to learn faster. How? Because you spend a lot of time learning content or information. When you spend time on something that does not lead to professional proficiency, you are making yourself go there slow. Therefore, when you set out to learn something, ask yourself this question: how much this program, course, or event I'm attending will enable me to go there faster and get an repeatable, reliable, consistent performance? It makes me deliver independently to my job standards. Or when you engage in learning something of your own, ask yourself, whatever activities you are engaged in, do those really take you to that stage? If the answer is no, then why waste time? Because learning that does not lead to the stage, perhaps it is going to slow you down. Okay. So when your goal is speed, go there fast. Most important thing is how well the path you choose cut the time out from the path, how well it lifts up the slope of learning to follow that red accelerated curve in that picture. Raise your hands if you want to accelerate your slope. I'm going to give you some tips over the next 15 minutes. Hopefully, that will change the way you have been learning so far. And you can take the charge of your speed yourself if your trainers or consultant or mentors are not really taking you there. Okay. And it will save you some time as you see. Okay. So we're going to talk about, five strategies. Um, you see that learning is very foundational process. From the day we are born till the day we die, we learn, and the biggest amount of research is actually in human learning. So honestly, there are lots of different strategies, but for this webinar I chose only five because we got only very limited time. But there is a really lot to learn because there are not many training out there who's going to teach you how to learn. Okay, there are a lot of things that can teach you how to learn the content, but how to learn is altogether a different ball game. Okay, so let me very quickly get into this one. I did research with some 70 world class organizations, and I found that they did something really different to speed up the process of their employees. They looked at what is the current sequence of activities the employees journey had. Of course, there was no consistency among employees because the managers typically leave their employees of their own to keep working toward their proficiency. They found out on an average employees were made to learn 30% of the things which either had no relationship with the target proficiency or they were simply wasteful. End result, employees take much longer time on an average to be proficient. So now imagine if you don't have to invest that 30% of the time to start with, what it can do for you. So these organizations, they asked few questions. Is spending time on this activity like learning a task, doing a project or a task really need to? Somebody really need that task to reach proficiency in that role? If no, why invest time learning it? Then they asked, does the event for which they are being prepared even happen frequently enough to use that skill? If no, then why invest time in having them learn a skill they won't use anytime soon? Then they asked another question. Is this the best optimized, efficient order or sequence in which employees should learn? Can we change the order of things in a way that can speed up the things? For instance, if I teach you a tough concept first, you will move faster overall than the combined time we spend learning a simple task first and then the complex task later. That sort of idea, changing the order. So then they redesigned the total path from state zero to state proficiency. Along that path, they set up the activities, tasks, assignment, learning modules, and projects that were essential for the job role. Learning events, and they set up the learning event only for the frequent skills. And then they ordered the events to optimize the speed. So end result was employees could learn 30 to 50% faster to reach the same level of proficiency. So that's what this path, designing a path, does for you. So the lesson from research is that when you focus on your end state of proficiency, you will then consciously, intentionally, and deliberately choose to learn courses or learning opportunities, content, skills, or projects that will take you there. You would not get derailed to learn the skill you won't use immediately. You won't spend time learning the things that do not tie in with the end state. Once you're clear about it, then you can go on with certain sequence that is designed for speed. I'm going to share one example with you. Earlier this year, I got a call one day. Um, I picked up the phone and the guy said, Mr. Raman, I said, yeah, I'm speaking. Would you be kind enough to be our TEDx speaker? I said, wow, yeah, yeah, why not? I was on top of the world. So, of course, yeah, count me in. And then I asked, by the way, when is the event? He said, 6 weeks from now. What the heck? 6 week TEDx? Am I crazy? So that would sound impossible. The people prepare for 1 to 2 year to do a 20 minutes TEDx talk. And I was just a newbie speaker in the town with no real experience for that kind of stage. But I make my decision based on research. I knew if I can design a lean proficiency path which measure exactly 6 weeks, I can do it. It may not be world class, but I can do it. So I lined up all the activities, tasks, and milestones, uh, which were essential to reach that goal. So I embedded practice sessions, mock-up, demos, things like that in that path. Now, this might sound like a goal setting, but here is the difference. You start from the outcome, you decide the target time, the proficiency you want to achieve. Of course, it has to be very compressed one, otherwise, no point doing it, that hard work. Then you work backward to figure out what other activities you need in order to be able to reach there in that particular time, and then you assign it a time, and then you go backward to the previous activity to see what must be done before you even finish that following activity. So this process does something wonderful. It does not let you include or learn any wasteful thing, content, knowledge, or skills that would not help you reach the final outcome. So let me elaborate a little bit what I mean by wasteful or making the lean path. So my job in that talk was to be successfully deliver a talk and come across as a proficient TEDx speaker. As a disabled, I was to deliver that talk sitting on the chair. So was there any value for me to learn all the stagecraft typically other speakers would use, those who will deliver the talk by standing? Probably not. If I was not walking across the stage, this also meant I don't need to learn all that stage circus tricks that other people will use. That would have been a wasteful activity for me. What I needed was to master the skill to come across authentic, well researched, and deep. So I wonder what I would have made, if I had gone to a TEDx training school. I don't know what they would have made me to go through. So, what's the point here? Point is that you produce proficient outcome for the job. You don't have to learn or master everything upfront. But we have been made to think by our teachers or other that in order to produce something, we must first master every single skill. But you don't have to learn everything and anything. Your proficiency goals should define your lean path, fat free, thin, lightweight path. You just need to see your goals and then work backward to figure out key skills that are required to produce that given outcome in a fastest possible time. Learn the essential skills, the most essential information. Remaining you can learn when you really need it at the point of need. When you learn the things at the point of need, you actually retain it well. And it cuts short the number of things you need to learn upfront. So when that inventory is reduced, what it does for you, it can tremendously shorten your time to proficiency as much as by 80%. Tell me in the chat if you find that as a quite eye-opening insight that you don't have to learn everything or master everything upfront in order to produce a given outcome. Yep, that's very unconventional because people tell us learn everything, master everything, and then hopefully you'll be able to produce certain outcome or be able to perform to certain level. But that's not true. When you start from the outcome, lot of things you will find unnecessary. You don't need to spend time to learn those. And when you don't spend time, what do? You move faster. You go there faster. Okay. So be careful when you join some very stuffy programs. Most of those programs are loaded with the content. Okay, those are not designed for speed. Okay, now if you see um, this particular strategy which I just shared with you, does it have anything to do with the talent or your inner qualities or your smartness or anything? It's all about the condition you create externally, isn't it? So that's why I was saying learning fast has nothing to do with your inner abilities, your focus, and all the talent you have inside. Learning fast very much depend upon what is external to you and how you leverage it. And in this particular case, how you can create a fat-free learning path optimized for speed, isn't it? So tell me if you find it the relevance of what I was saying, that most of the time learning fast depends upon conditions which are external to us, which we can leverage, which we can exploit, which we can use, and anybody can use it, by the way. And you don't have to be hugely talented or a genius to leverage your external conditions. Yep, it is a little conventional. So the problem with this one is that not many people actually teach this research on learning. There is a lot of research how we should learn. And once we understand that science, we can actually do things much smartly. Even if we are not talented by birth, we can do things more efficiently. All right. Okay. So looks like, I am kind of behind uh, my time. We got only 7 more minutes to go, right?
Yep. But if the members are, as in the members in this group, it's okay. Maybe we can stretch it a little bit. But I understand that some of you might have appointments and need to leave first. It's okay. The recording will still be sent to you.
Mm-hmm.
In case you want to have a look at the parts that you have missed. But I think we can afford to stretch a little.
Okay. Um, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Give me a time.
Yep. If the rest are okay, maybe you can just give a hands up, or if you just time to share that I know that I'm okay, then I think maybe we can stretch a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
Guys, type in the chat if you are okay for us to stretch maybe about 10, 15 minutes more than the scheduled time. I didn't realize that, we almost kind of going a little slow.
No
All right.
worries. Okay, that's why I feel okay. I think it's good. Maybe we can just stretch it a bit. Yeah.
Okay, perfect then.
Thanks for
Okay.
sharing.
All right. Okay, great. So now I'm going to share the second strategy, and then after that, I will give you a resource. I prepared a resource for you, which actually outline 25 things which you can use in your daily life to speed up your learning. And all those 25 things are based on a thorough research from different sources from by different scientists. So I'll give you in a very simple format so that you can adopt. So I'm pretty sure that not everything uh, I planned will be able to cover, but I'll give you a resource. Okay. So hang in tight there. I'm going to share this very important strategy and then we'll move on to a resource. Okay. So any one of you ever worked with a coach or mentor? Ever? Do you have coaches or mentors in your professional life? Yeah. For me, with that TEDx example I was giving, the real savior for me was building the network of coaches. Coaches are very important to speed up your learning. Okay. And during my research, what I found is that if you want to be successful fast in your career, you have to have a network of coaches, mentors, trainers, and guides. Not just one coach, guys, rather a network of coaches. Because not every coach would have every skill you need in your professional world. And then, not just coach, you need something more than a coach. More often, coach may even not have the exact experience what you need. Sometimes like coaches that who will be watching you from the boundary and asking you the question. You need mentors who could tell you how they did something similar. Imagine getting that know-how, what really works. Then you need guides who can impart you larger level of wisdom that you cannot even attain for years and years of hard work. So that's still not enough. Certain skill need to be learned step by step. For that, you need trainers. And then you need people who are undergoing the exact same experience emotionally, just like you. They are your peer level coaches. You need a sense of speed relative to others, and they are your reference point. The point here is that if you can leverage other people's experience, other people's learning, and ride upon that, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can progress toward proficiency at a much faster rate. And you also avoid a lot of wasteful activities. You can design a lean path. You can set better goals. You can have people who can give you harsh targets, who can push you there to go faster. We mostly underplay this multiplication effect, but this is one critical strategy. If you want to gain speed in your life, go with this, a network of coaches. In fact, if you don't use any other strategy and use only just this one, it can tremendously accelerate your learning. Okay. Again, it has nothing to do with brain capacity. It has nothing to do with your inner talents. It's all about controlling and leveraging your external conditions. I'm going to go back to my TEDx example very quickly. Back then, I hired a coach for mainstream talk and idea and structure, things like that. Then I hired a coach for stagecraft, like, how do I do my talk while sitting? Then I went to another famous coach from New York for coaching me on a TED specific script writing. I hired one for fixing my diction and verbal language flow and impact. Then I hired a coach for theoretical, those, how do you project your voice and all that in the auditorium. And I also had some coaches who were watching me, reviewing my practice sessions. And then I network with many of my peers as test audience, even if they were not, qualified coaches. So guess what? I was ready to do my TEDx speech in 5 weeks, not because I was some sort of genius or I was brilliant or I was a world class speaker already. No, what I use is power of lean path, number one, and then network of coaches. That's how you can strategically use your network of coaches. When you build a network of coaches, it gives multiplication effect in your speed. So essentially, you need a wide network of coaches working with you on different aspects of your job. If you really want to speed up your progression, you might come across people in your life who would claim that they can change your life. But honestly, we know that one person cannot change your life. You're going to need many people, and that network is what is going to change your life and set you for speed. Okay. You can get only when you get engaged with multiple coaches, not one. Okay. So don't rely on one for everything in your career. Go for the best, but be careful. What are you signing up for? Are you signing up for training or coaching, mentoring, or guidance? These are different things. Okay. Now, I believe you guys all understood that creating the network is more of a personal skill. It's more of an emotional skill to get the your relationship going. It has nothing to do with your talent or per se your brain capacity or anything with your other thing that you might have thought about. Okay, so it's a very external focused um, action. But remember that before you have the network of coaches, you must have lean proficiency path designed, a well-designed path. But if you don't have that path, then you hire or you get a coach to design that path first. Okay. Okay. Let me see what exactly I'm going to go with. I'm going to share one strategy and then we'll jump on to the resource I'm going to give you. Okay. Everyone good with so far? Learning something new, something unconventional? Okay. Perfect. Okay. This is a very important strategy and people typically don't get it right. Okay. It's very insightful. And in fact, it involves getting yourself into a range of experiments and exposing yourself to failures. So let me elaborate that one with an example. The pilots, they are trained in cockpit simulators where they are thrown hundreds of different variables like wind speed, tail speed, landing speed, and things like that. And then they will introduce changes in those variables based on how it actually happens in real life. So that's how they build these, quick decision making and reflexes and reaction time in pilot for real flights. But in some research studies, what they did is they doubled up the speed of every single change. For instance, the rate of fall was doubled up. The rate of pressure loss was doubled up. In normal circumstances, if one alarm will go off only after the first one is gone, in this study, what they did is they made the alarm go off at same time. So that exposed pilots to failure cycles at double the normal rate. Failure cycle mean situation created to make you fail. It was challenging for pilots, but through multiple iterations, their reaction and response time improved. Later, when they compared, they found that the pilot who were exposed to failures at a higher rate become proficient faster than the normal pilots. And in fact, the quality of performance they delivered was remarkable too. Later on, several studies found that if we pack a rapid succession of events or failures in a compact time, people become proficient very quickly. They learn very fast. It's very surprising, but it is true. So same way there's some other research that has suggested that our normal tendency is to put some hours of practice on a task. They say if you keep practicing on one task, it doesn't make you learn faster. You know why? Because primarily these days the tasks are unpredictable. We don't work on those repeatable tasks anymore. Every new situation is totally new. We may not have seen it before. So they say instead of practicing on a task, putting your hours on a task, what really works is variation of that task in different situations so that each exposure become one experiment. So when you expose yourself to a range of experiments in a compressed time, it has the same effect of packing failures in a short time. The learning point here is that to speed up your learning, don't think of putting hours into same task. Strive to do a range of experiments, variations, different situations, and seek it quickly in a compressed time. Okay. Why? Because a lot of things are happening here at a psychological level. There is feedback, observation, reflection, retrospection, and corrections between two failure cycles. The point here is you need to focus on getting as many cycle of reflection and corrections as you can get within a given time. So if you can pull off more, you will be on the path to speed up your final learning. When I started my journey for public speaking, I decided not to ever repeat the same talk twice. And that has worked in my favor because then each task is new experiment for me. I will start from the scratch and then go all the way up doing that entire experiment. So imagine how much learning get deepened and accelerated. So within 1 year later, I've kind of spoken on some of world's biggest conferences. In the beginning, you will feel that you are not making any progress because there will be a lot of hurdles. But the total time to go to that end point will be much faster. So next time, you need to dig and design those multiple opportunities to experiment and apply your newly learned skills in different situations and find out the way to go face to face to possible failures in a shorter time. More failure, the better. Even you can ask your coach to put you into situation at a rapid succession where your chances of failures are very high. Don't strive for success. Strive for multiple failure cycle in a compressed time, and you will see, and that's what the research tells us, that your learning toward proficiency will accelerate it tremendously. This might sound very odd to you because in the beginning it's going to be very difficult for you, but the end result is that the overall learning actually get much faster. So now if you see, having a flair of experimentation and exposing yourself to a series of failures, Anybody can do it. You don't need to be talented for this. You don't need to have a smart brain. You don't need to be genius. It is nothing inside you. It is the external situation which you're gonna leverage, okay? And it does wonder, really. How's everyone doing so far? Was that eye-opening as far as the failures are concerned? Was that a new learning for you? Perfect. All right. Okay. Great. I see some of my guys. Thank you very much, guys, for being here. So I think we are kind of pretty much kind of end of the of the stretch we requested from you. So I will have to apologize that there were two more strategies I wanted to share with you, but I think I don't have enough time today. But I'm just gonna kind of skip those and gonna take you to a resource which you can download. Okay. I wanted to share a strategies on emotional loading. And I wanted to basically tell you how emotions and emotional loading makes you learn faster. But I think I'm going to reserve it for something else. You can look for some of my YouTube videos and you can have certain videos on emotion loading, how it accelerates. So you can keep a watch on that one. And the other one I wanted to basically share was about ecosystem. So I don't have enough time today to share, but these two are powerful insights. And guys, anything I shared today and anything I plan to share, you are not gonna find these anywhere in any single book. Okay. So this is a collective wisdom I have kind of gathered from different sources and I brought it for you. So most likely you may have never read many of these things. Hopefully I gave you some fresh ideas today. And this was the overall thing which I originally planned, but since the time was pretty short, so the resource which I'm going to give you will have 25 things. It will have 5 stages of learning. It will have 5 goals to achieve. It will have 5 strategies you need to adopt. And then it will have 5 mistakes you must avoid that might be slowing you down. And then it will have 5 myths. There are a lot of myths in learning field. We have been taught how to learn wrongly, and there are lots and lots of myths, and there are many. But in the resource which I'm going to give you, there are 5 which I'm going to debunk. Okay, and here is the link where you can go, and there is a PDF that you can download once you put your email address and everything, and you'll be able to download. And most likely, you're going to need to rename that file. I was testing it. I think it doesn't come up with that extension. So once you download the file, you're going to need to rename it as PDF. Okay, and then you will be able to open up and read it. I'm going to display it for a few seconds. Wei, if you can copy this link in the chat, that will be great. Okay, we already did that.
Yeah, has already done so. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Download that file, and you're gonna need to enter your email address. And part of this one is it's gonna take you to. It's a part of my learning portal. It's a free learning portal, by the way. And right now it's getting redesigned. The look is not same what you see on the slide. Um, but imagine that you go to a website where website is gonna ask you, what do you want to learn today? It wouldn't be about here I am, this is my blah blah services. It's going to talk about what's your challenge. Tell me, what do you want to achieve? So I'm still redesigning this website, and you're going to get that one. And a part of this one is there are 5 areas where I deliver know-how really to the people who join this portal. So the part of the download is you're going to be joining this, and you're going to get some continuous tips from me as and when I publish. All right. Okay, so let me see. So if you feel, you can join my Facebook community. I post lots of videos there, articles there in that Facebook group. And if you're a person who would like to, learn with other community, feel free to be part of that one. And if you like to learn from videos, a lot of things which I talk today is gonna be out there in smaller videos, 3 minute, 5 minutes videos. So look out for that YouTube channel, and you can possibly subscribe that, and it will keep bringing you some nuggets you will love in the meantime. And anything I do professionally, it's all about speed. Even my name of the website I have called Speed to Proficiency. So it's all focused on the bringing in the research and experience about speed learning. Okay. So I really want to apologize one more time that, we couldn't really finish everything I planned today. But I really, appreciate your patience listening to me. I'm gonna skip this one, and I am going to just close my presentation with this thing. And I think I repeated many times in my presentation that a secret of learning fast reside more outside than inside. So if this one takeaway you can take home today, from that point onward, you are never going to think that, my colleague is genius. He can learn faster than me. Or a person who's working with me, he is much smarter than me. Or my manager or leader, they can figure out things quickly, but I can't. The real secret is that the things they leverage or the thing they use are mostly outside. They have learned how to leverage the resources, the coaches, the learning path, the conditions, the factor, the environment, and anything else available to them. And they have learned how to leverage it correctly. And that's how can they can learn and grab the opportunity at an accelerated rate. Okay. So I hope this message can make some difference to you and in a long run. And feel free to, kind of check out with me, contact me if you feel that you're gonna need to learn a little bit more today. If you feel that you found something useful, but it was time was too less. So ping me on any of these social channels. You can connect with me on Facebook, LinkedIn. If you are on LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can connect me any other social media platform. It has been my pleasure, really, today to give some insights to you guys. I hope that it worked for you. And if there are any questions anybody want to ask, I'm open to that.